Hi, and thank you for joining me today for our gentle yoga class. This is going to be a shorter class than we usually do for days when you just don't have a full hour to practice. It will contain all of the elements of a regular gentle practice, though, so it may move a little bit faster than usual, so I apologize for that if it does. But we'll begin seated in your most comfortable seated position. You can sit up on a blanket or a towel, whatever makes you feel like your hips are open, like you can sit and breathe comfortably without struggling at all. So, any seated position. We'll just close our eyes for a moment. Begin to turn inward and shift our awareness for our practice. Take 3 conscious breaths, just slowly in, slowly out, paying attention to how the breath feels in your body and paying attention to the pauses in between the breaths. Let your body be loose and relaxed, but still a bit of energy moving through with each breath in and out. Let your consciousness be in the here and now, not worried about anything else that's going on later or before. Just right here, right now, with your body and breath. We'll begin our movements on your next exhale, placing the left hand down on the floor and reaching the right arm up and over for a side stretch. So feel the stretch through the right side body as you sink your right hip down into the mat. Stretch your fingertips away. And we'll tuck the chin and just drop the chin over towards the left shoulder. Just a little bit of neck stretch, neck awareness here. And then on your inhale, turn your chin up to face your top arm. And then we'll exhale, float the right arm down. Breathe here and we'll take the other side. So right hand down on the mat, left hand sweeps up and over. Feel that stretch on the left hand side of the body. Drop the left hip down. Nice long breaths. Don't let your lower ribs jut out. Pull the lower ribs in and lengthen through the spine. Drop your chin and turn it towards your right shoulder for a breath. And then turn it up towards your top arm for a breath. And then we'll float the left arm down. We're going to transition from here to lying down on the mat. Begin to bring some heat into the practice with a little bit of abdominal work here, but first, just feel your body on the ground. Feel your spine nice and long. The hip bones pulling out and away from the lower back. We'll pull the knees into the chest here, maybe rock back and forth, just getting some feeling in that lower back, integrating it with the rest of the body. Maybe make circles with your knees, just really waking it up. Crown of the head pulling long up to the top of your mat. Sit bones pulling down. Long spine. And we'll come to stillness, and we're going to pull the right knee into the chest, extend the left leg along the ground. Now for this, make sure your right hip drops and is at the same level as your left because it can kind of creep up a little bit. And we'll rotate the foot a little, just get a little ankle stretch there. And here we're going to bring in the abdominals. So you can grab your shin here, reach your arms forward, or place your hands behind your head. And we're going to lift the shoulders and head off the mat. So you're using your abdominals here. Sink your abdominals, and then maybe bring that extended leg, the left leg, off the ground an inch or two. If that's too much, just keep the leg on the ground. We're breathing, sinking the abdominals, extending through the hips. And then we'll take the hands to the outside of the right leg. So we're twisting a little bit here, getting the side abdominal muscles, the obliques involved. Continue to breathe. Sinking the abdominals down. And rest. Bring the head down, pull the knees into the chest. Return to your smooth breathing. Maybe rock back and forth. Again, just reset. When you're ready, bring that left knee into the chest. Drop the left hip down so it's even with the right. Extend your right leg. Feel long on the mat, hips pulling down out of the lower back. Place your hands on your shin, reach them forward or place them behind your head, and we'll lift up using the abdominals. Press the abdominals down into the mat, lift the shoulders and head up. Maybe lift that right leg off the ground a little bit and breathe here. Find the position that's correct for you, where you can still breathe, but you feel the heat building in your abdominals. Release your neck and face, relax them, and then we'll reach over to the outside of your left leg. Again, engaging the side oblique muscles. Make sure you're not holding this tension in your face or neck. And then we'll release back onto the mat, pull the knees into the chest, and again, return to your smooth breathing. So just feel the energy beginning to move around in your body, the heat building. We'll extend the legs up in the air now. Pull up on the kneecaps. Your legs may not go totally straight here. They probably won't. We're not really warmed up, but don't worry about that. Just point and flex the feet. Feel what it feels like to engage certain muscles, stretch certain muscles with different positions here. And when you're ready, bend the knees, roll over to your side, and we'll press up to sitting and come to hands and knees. So again, take your time here. Get yourself into a position. We're going to drop back into our first child's pose here. If you're okay with child's pose, just go right into it, but I'm going to offer an alternative child's pose here for people with difficulty bending their knees so far. So if you have that trouble, tuck your toes underneath, walk your arms out, and just sink your hips back as far as they'll go without any discomfort. As you can see here, I'm not bending my knees as much as I normally would in a child's pose. You can place a block under your head if that helps, just anywhere you can feel relaxed and breathing, making your spine nice and long here, hips stretching back, but not overdoing it with the knees. It's just an alternative if child's pose is tough on your knees. We'll come up to hands and knees now. We're going to do a little bit more heat building in the side body here with a side plank. So pulling the belly in, we'll take the right leg back like you're going to go into a push-up, and drop that inner foot down and begin to open up to the right into side plank. Pressing into the mat with that left arm, bringing the right arm up. Fingertips point to the ceiling. Or if that's too much, just bring the arm down by the side of your waist. Using the waist muscles, the abdominals, bringing your head in line with your spine so it's not sinking down. Breathe long into the position. Again, feeling your side body working here, building heat still in the abdominals. Sweep that right arm down now. Come back to hands and knees and press back to child's pose, whatever version of child's pose works for you. What I mean by works for you is where you're able to come back to your smooth breathing, to open up your lower back and return to kind of a home base. Relax your face, relax your shoulders. Give your wrists a little break here. On your next inhale, we'll come on back up to hands and knees, and we're going to take side plank on the other side. So pressing the right hand into the mat here. We'll take the left foot back like you're going to do a push-up. Drop the inner foot down and begin to open up to the left. Again, pressing in, using the shoulder, using the arm. We're going to take the left arm up so the fingertips point up to the ceiling. Tuck that right hip in and get nice and long through the top of the head, the crown of the head. Using the sides of your abdominals, your waist muscles. Nice long breath. Reaching out through the heel, out through the crown of your head. We'll sweep that left arm back down. And come to hands and knees. One more time, stretch back to child's pose. This time, really give your wrists a little bit of love here after they've supported so much weight. So open and close the hands, maybe rotate the hands around. Maybe bring the palms together. Again, relaxing your shoulders, your face, opening your lower back, and breathe. On your next inhale, come on up to hands and knees, tuck your toes, and we're going to take our first downward facing dog here. So we're going to take our time lifting the hips up, keeping the knees very generously bent here. You can always take downward facing dog on your forearms if it's tough on your wrists. But wherever you are, sink the shoulder blades back down towards your hips, up towards your hips, I guess in this case. Pulling the lower ribs and upper hip points together so you're not overarching the back. And then gently begin to pull up on the quadricep muscles right above the kneecaps. And that'll begin to open your hamstrings, and your heels will gently begin to drop. Focus the energy moving up, up, up into the hips. And then relax the heels down. Maybe pedal your knees out a little bit. Pressing evenly into the mat with both hands. Notice if your weight is distributed unequally in your hands. If you're rolling to the outside of your hands or the inside, press into the mat evenly with your hands through that upper palm where the fingers connect to the hand. After your next breath, exhale and begin to walk the feet up towards the hands. Come to a forward fold position. Again, knees can be as bent as you need to right here so that your spine evenly drops over your legs. Relax your shoulders. You can have your hands on a block. Grab your elbows. We're going to take a little variation here today to open the shoulders. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Just rest the hands on your sacrum or your lower back. And feel how that kind of takes your shoulders back, presses them away from your ears. You can lift your arms up and over if that feels okay. If not, just keep the hands resting on the sacrum. Focus on opening the shoulders. We'll release that, bend the knees, place the hands securely on the floor and step back with your right foot. So we're kind of in a runner's lunge here. And then drop the right knee down. So you're coming to a low lunge. Take a moment to arrange your body so that it feels comfortable. And then we'll use the inner thighs and belly to come on up and upright the torso into a full low lunge. Sweep the arms up if that feels okay on your balance. If not, just maybe use one arm, just the right arm up. Again, dropping the tailbone down for a nice long spine, pulling the belly in. We'll sweep the arms down now. Place them on the floor. Tuck the back toes. Bring the right knee up off the ground and pause here in this runner's lunge again for a moment, extending the spine. And then walk that foot up to the front and forward fold. Coming back to our forward fold as our kind of home base right now. Take your version of forward fold, grabbing the elbows, placing hands on the block, whatever works for you. We'll interlace the fingers behind the back one more time, again, to just kind of promote that opening of the shoulders. Take the hands up and over if that feels good, if your shoulders are real open, you've got good balance, engage your legs, or just leave them on your sacrum. This takes some strength in the legs here. It's a little bit of balance. We'll sweep the arms down again. Bend the knees, place the hands securely on the floor, and when you're ready, step your left foot back into your low lunge. Pull the right hip into the midline. And we'll drop the left knee down. Take your time here. Get into a nice, comfortable position. We're stretching the front of the left hip now. And using your inner thighs and belly, come on up and upright your torso into this low lunge position. If you feel comfortable sweeping the arms up, do that now. Reach up through the fingertips. Drop the tailbone down so you're using that abdominal strength to keep you upright. Breathe nice and long. Press into that right foot. We'll exhale, sweep the arms down so the hands are on either side of the front foot. Take that back knee up off the ground so now you're in a runner's lunge, kind of like getting ready to start a race. Breathe here. And then we'll step the back foot up to meet the front foot in forward fold again. Take your time. Breathe. We'll meet here in forward fold. When you're ready, release the arms and begin to slowly roll up to stand. All the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Engage your thighs as you stand. And we'll take a breath in mountain pose. Feet about hips distance apart, pressing evenly into the mat. Tailbone pointing down. Shoulders relaxed. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up above your head. Reach the fingertips nice and tall. Get some length. Tuck your tailbone down towards the ground, and we'll sink into our chair pose. So weight in the heels, sink the hips back like you're going to sit in a chair, and then on your next exhale, sweep the arms back behind you. So fingertips point back and down, thumbs turn out. We're working on opening the shoulders here, still pulling the belly in so you're not arching, but opening the back. And then we'll sweep the arms forward again into a traditional chair pose. Begin to shift the weight over into the right foot and step back with the left. So we're in kind of a lunge here, but place that left foot flat on the floor so we're coming into warrior one pose. Bring your torso upright, reach the hands up. Feel strong in your warrior one here. Drop the tailbone down, pressing the feet evenly into the mat. Lean forward now over your bent leg, reaching the arms forward in line with your back heel. We'll reach forward and then begin to shift the weight into your front foot as you kind of drag the back foot forward. Meet the feet together in a chair pose. One more breath. And then stand and release. Rolling your shoulders back. Do just little shoulder rolls here to come back to the smooth breathing. We're going to do a little bit of a balance posture here, pressing the right foot into the mat. Take the left toe in front of you. And this may be enough balance for you right here. If you want to challenge your balance a little bit, maybe flex the foot, take the toe off the ground and make circles with your foot, circling the ankle around. If at any time you lose your balance, just place the toe back on the ground. Feel the right leg engaged, the hips even, belly being used to help you balance. We'll place the feet back together again. Take a couple more shoulder rolls here, rolling the shoulders back. Just breathing, coming back into the moment. And we'll take another chair pose when you're ready. So sweeping the arms up and over, fingertips point to the ceiling. Exhale down, sink the hips into your chair pose. Pulling the belly in so you don't arch. Weight in the heels. We'll sweep the arms back again. Thumbs face out, so that you're kind of in this, like airplane arms. Keep your head in line with your spine. And on your next inhale, sweep the arms forward again into traditional chair pose. We'll begin to shift the weight over into the left leg now and step back with the right. Take your time. Place both feet flat on the floor so the right toes will turn out a little bit. Play with your stance if it's uncomfortable. Bring the feet closer together if you need to and upright your torso here into a strong warrior one pose. Fingertips reach up, feet reach down. Left hip pulling into the midline. Squeeze your inner thighs together. And we'll begin to tip out again over that bent leg. So nice long spine, fingertips to back heel in diagonal line. Pick the back heel up and begin to slide as you shift the weight into the front foot. Slide the back foot forward. Bring the feet together. Just a gentle chair pose here. Inhale and exhale, come to stand. Again, we'll do just some shoulder rolls to take any tension out of the neck that might have built up during our strength position there. And we're going to balance now on the other leg, the left leg. So pressing the left leg into the mat, engaging the muscles. Place your right toe in front of you on the ground. And this might, again, be enough balance for now using your belly. If you want to take it up a little bit, lift that toe up off the ground, flex the foot, and circle the ankle. Feel the engagement of the left leg, the hips even. Again, bring your toe back down if it's too much, if you lose your balance. When you're ready, step your feet together. Take a breath, and we'll, one more time, just roll those shoulders to come back to our smooth breath. We'll take the feet wide apart now on your mat, so face the long side of your mat. And make sure that your feet are comfortable. You're not rolling to one side or the other, that you're balanced over both feet. We'll take the toes pointing out and begin to sink down into temple pose, bending the knees, kind of into a squat here. So the knee is going to be right over the ankle. Take a minute, again, to play with your stance. Bring your feet closer together, farther apart. Point your tailbone down so that your core is supporting you, and take the arms out to the sides. Turn the thumbs so that they face the back of the room, and then we'll rotate it your arms so that your thumbs turn towards the ground. And we'll take this rotation a couple times, externally rotating and internally rotating your arms. So thumbs point down, thumbs point back. All the time, engaging your legs, keeping your shoulders down. One more breath, we'll take the hands to a cactus position and press into the floor. Begin to straighten the legs, drop the arms, and we'll shift back and forth, bending the right knee, bending the left, moving around, moving that energy, that heat that you're building around the body. If you have a block handy, grab your block for this next forward fold. We're going to do Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg forward fold. So legs apart, feet pressing into the ground. Spread your arms out and we'll begin to fold forward from the waist. So if you feel your hips kicking back, shift the weight into your toes and begin to fold forward. Your legs do not have to be totally straight here. Engage your legs. So your legs are working. This isn't just a collapsing pose. This is fully engaged legs as you stretch the backs of your legs and fold forward. You can have the block right in front of you to put your hands on if that's more comfortable. You can place your hands right on the floor if you like. Let your shoulders relax away from your neck. Press your feet evenly into the mat. Again, feeling like you're squeezing a big beach ball between your legs so they can stay engaged. We'll take one more breath here. Exhale and inhale into a flat back. Place your hands on your hips, bend your knees a little bit, and come on up to stand. Stand in mountain pose. We're going to take a little neck stretch here. Turn your head to the left and drop your chin, roll all the way down. Look down towards the ground. Open up the back of your neck and then bring the chin up towards the right. Look to the right. Just a couple of neck rolls like this. Standing evenly through both feet. Take a couple final stretches here. Breathing in, taking the arms up overhead. Reach, reach, reach through both sides of your waist. And exhale, fold forward, taking all that length down with you. Engage the front of the legs again, opening up the back of the legs. And then bend the knees, place the hands on the floor if they were on a block, and step back. We'll step back to downward facing dog here or child's pose. Whatever position allows you to come into the present. Lengthen out your breath. You turn the head to one side for a moment. Turn the head to the other side. Again, all this head turning and shoulder rolling is just a way to be aware of where we bring our attention and release it. Wherever you are, we'll come to hands and knees now. We're going to come to a plank on your knees. So place your wrists right under your shoulders, knees on the ground, and then we'll lower all the way down to the ground so we're lying on our belly. Shift the forearms forward here. We're going to come into a very little back bend called Sphinx pose. So shoulders are stacked right above your elbows, forearms are flat on the floor. Toes pointing backwards, roll the inner thighs up towards the ceiling and pull the belly in here so that you're not overarching your back. Maybe bend that right leg if you want a little more of a stretch in the front of the right leg. You can reach back for your foot if you can reach it. If not, just keep the knee bent. But if there's any cramping at all, just leave your legs straight. I'm demonstrating here if you have a strap or a t-shirt or a towel at home and you can link it around the front of your foot and just bring that strap or t-shirt over your shoulder. You can get that nice stretch pressing your foot back into the strap here without having to reach all the way back and cram yourself trying to grab your foot. So we'll release that right leg, come back to the Sphinx pose. Breathing deeply, rolling the shoulders back, feeling those inner front armpits roll back to open your chest. And then you can take that extra stretch with your left leg if you want, bending your left leg, reaching back with your hand, with a strap, with a towel. Really struggled with this strap here. But you can just keep your leg bent if that works too. Otherwise, just keep your legs straight. But again, the main thing here is not to overarch the back, pulling the belly button like it's going to come off the ground so that you lengthen your tailbone down towards your knees and you don't just kind of collapse into the lower back. So you're getting the stretch and the little back bend without injuring or overdoing it for your lower back. We'll release that now. Press into the mat with your forearms and press back to your version of child's pose one last time. Opening up through the back body, feeling the breath in the front of the body. Fill up your whole chest, your whole belly, front and back with breath. Remembering you're here for a purpose today, you brought yourself here. You should be proud and happy that you're doing something really good for your body. We'll shift the hips over to one side, come to seated, and then lie back on your mat. Again, take your time here. No rush. Feel what it feels like to lie down. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground. We're going to press the feet into the mat and lift the hips up. And take your block or maybe a couple books or anything that you have handy that's stable and slide it under your hips as you lift them up. So right about where your waistband is. Find a height that's appropriate for you where you feel like you can really relax into this pose, this restorative pose. I'm showing a variation for people with pretty open shoulders here where you grab your elbows and let your arms rest over your head. You can just keep your arms by your side. I'm also demonstrating a little bit more of a stretch for your hip flexor or the front of your hip here. You can straighten out one leg. Breathe here. Again, paying attention not to overarch the back, pointing the tailbone down towards the heels, pulling the belly in a little. You can switch legs. Again, opening up the front of the hips. We worked the quadriceps and the hip flexors and the hips pretty hard today, so this is just a little extra opening. Whatever's comfortable for you here. Shoulders roll back and arms rest on the ground. When you're ready, press your feet into the ground, lift up, remove your block. Let your hips rest on the ground and pull your knees into your chest. Really open up the back body. Breathe and make your spine long on the ground, pulling your hips away from your lower back. We'll take the arms out now, feet on the ground, arms out kind of like a cactus or goalpost. Lift the hips and shift them over to the right. We'll drop the knees over to the left. Looking over your right shoulder. Don't let your right shoulder pop up off the ground here. So in other words, you don't want to let your knees go too far. Your knees don't have to touch the ground. You can prop them up with a block underneath them like I did here. If you want a little more of a stretch, you can cross your right knee over your left. And that'll give you a little bit more of a stretch in that outer right hip. But wherever you are here, just breathe, open up. And we'll come back to center when you're ready. Lift the hips up, shift them over to the left a couple inches, and let the knees drop over to the right now. Again, you can cross that right leg over the left leg if you want a little bit deeper stretch. Move your block to the other side so you can rest your knees if they don't come to the ground. Anchor your left shoulder down. If your lower back feels any kind of pinching or anything here, back out of the stretch a little bit. Focus on lengthening your tailbone down. Great stretch for the lower back. Great way to come back to your breath, come back to the moment here. Heavy on your mat. Bring the knees back to center now. Shift your hips back to the middle. And take any more final stretches that you might like before you come to your final resting position for the class. I like to pull my knees into my chest, open the lower back. As you can see here, I straighten my legs so the bottoms of my feet are pointing toward the ceiling, just to kind of feel, again, the difference in this position now as opposed to the beginning of class. A little bit more open. Find any position you like. You can take your legs up the wall, soles of the feet together, knees apart, arms out, arms by your side. You get comfortable here. And begin to just sink into your mat. Letting the benefits of the practice, all of the energy, bring you to a rest now, a resting position, feeling warm. Locate where the energy is moving, locate where it's centered in your body. And as you breathe in, let that glow or that energy spread throughout your entire body, all the way down through your toes and fingers. And as you exhale, feel like a wave is washing over you, taking away anything negative. Breathing it all out, any tension, any stress. So you're left with a nice glow and smooth, open breath. Just take a nice deep breath here. Make your next breath a little bit deeper than the rest, a little bit longer. Exhale it all out. Begin to move your fingers and your toes a little bit, and maybe take a nice long stretch on your mat. Fingertips and toes reaching away from each other. When you're ready, bring the knees into the chest, curl into a little ball. Either rock up to seated, or you can roll to one side and press up. And we'll come again to a comfortable seated position, up on a blanket, maybe cross-legged, maybe legs out in front. Just take a moment, pause for a moment in gratitude for yourself, for your decision today to come to the mat, to increase your awareness and your energy for the world around you. So we'll take one final breath in together as yogis, breathing in all of the energy and warmth we created here today. And as you exhale, transforming it into patience, loving kindness, and compassion for all the living things you encounter today. Please also remember that you are unique. You are a very special person. You have a very special purpose in this world. And I am very thankful for you and for you being here with me today. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.